Hello and welcome to the third Empires tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to be going over the basics of entities and how to get some props in a map so that way it doesn't look so barren like it is right now. So, for this, basically, it's all going to rely on the entity tool for this map. So you're going to want to go ahead and click on the entity tool. Then you're going to want to go over here to the objects and go ahead and type prop static. Now the difference between prop static and the other props that'll show up, so here, I'll go up and we'll type in, we'll just go to see prop, and you'll see a giant list of props. Now, all of these have their own features to it. Prop static means that it won't move around, it's stuck in place. Prop physics means that it will obey physics. You can like toggle it on and off. Physics override, meaning it is always obeying physics and it can fall over. So do not make trees physics override or you'll have a bunch of falling trees, which I guess that's alright if you want falling trees, but I wouldn't recommend it. Prop dynamic means that it's in place. And then prop detail is just for world brushes, which we'll get into later. Again, there's a bunch of these, however, most of these aren't useful. They're more for Half-Life 2. We don't use them in Empires, so I won't really be getting into it. So again, we're just going to go up here and go to prop static. There we go. You're just going to want to hit enter after you get that to confirm it, or click apply. So here you'll see which direction it's facing. Again, the DirectX level we want, just leave it at these settings because it doesn't really matter. The world model, this is where you go ahead and you choose the model. So you click browse, and then a list of a bunch of props will show up. So there's the rocks, the canyon rocks, combine camera, combine room, common. Here you can see a bunch of different models. If it's pink and black, don't choose it, as that means there's no texture assigned to the model, and that means the model will not show up. Or I mean, it will show up, but it'll show up as pink and black, and we don't want that because that looks ugly, and the last thing you want to do is give the players of the map sore eyes. So here, you can see just a bunch of different maps, or a bunch of different models. Here's the models for the buildings. You can see, here's some more props that you can do, concrete barrier, crowd barrier. Here's the more Half-Life 2 models, which you can use to make your maps look good. Here's some vehicles. And there's more vehicles under Imperial. Here's some MGs. There's a dropship. Some vehicles. There's usually some destroyed ones. Those are really cool to have around the map. So yeah, we'll actually just go ahead and we'll have a heavy tank. So there you are, one of those destroyed heavy tanks that you see in the game all the time. So now, with that, we'll go ahead and we'll press Control-C and Control-V, and you can copy-paste them, and then I'll show you how to rotate them. So let's say that like this heavy tank was firing off in this direction, and then an artillery shell hit right here, and that's why it died. So we need to get this heavy tank a little bit closer, and it needs to be aiming in the direction of said artillery. So we'll put it right here. We'll click on it. If you click on it once, so here when you notice that there's 1, 2, 3 on the top, that means that you can move the thing around into multiple different directions, and you can usually, if it's like a world brush, yeah, you can do this and it will move accordingly. If you click on it once, it will allow you to rotate it, so just go ahead and click on it and you can rotate it in a full 360 degrees. Depending on the view, you can rotate it all the way around. So we'll leave it stuck into the ground a bit. How does that sound? Like that. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, that looks good. It got buried under some artillery fire. There we go. And if you do this, again, this just rotates it front to back. So there we are. That's just the basics of rotating a prop around. And we'll go back into this. And yes, we do want it to use physics. Again, if it's a prop static, that's not going to be really important. Disable shadows, I can't see any reason why you'd want that. So the start fade distance in pixels, Yeah, you're gonna want to change this. So sometimes if you compile the map, prop static won't show up, and you actually have to change these values. So for like the start fade distance, just set it to some ridiculously high number, and that way it won't fade out of view. Make sure your end fade is the same as the start fade. So fade scale, just leave it as 1. And for the lighting origin, we're not going to go into that right now. And all these settings, you just kind of want to leave the same right now. Oh, I meant to do this. There we go. Yeah, you just want to leave these light maps the same. So there we go. So go ahead, click apply. And there's the heavy tank. It's a prop static, and the props are around. I showed you how to rotate it there. And so now I'm going to show you something else cool with props. So here, I'm going to go on this, and we're going to change the map. We're going to go up to Canyon Rocks, go up to Cliff Rock. Just choose any one of these rocks that you see. There you go. You can see it's now in the map. However, they usually spawn up top the map, and so usually you have to drag them underground if you only want part of it showing. Now some models in Empires, usually these rocks, if you double click on it and you go here and go to skin, and then there's multiple different skins that come with these rocks. So this one I personally like. I think it fits the most. So skin 1, you can go to skin 2, skin 3, skin 4, and that's back to where we started with skin 1. Or skin 0, sorry. So as you can see, there's multiple different skins to fit multiple different environments, so you can use that to hopefully make a custom map that seems to fit a certain environment. For this, I'm going to set it to 1. So here we are. We're going to Control C and then Control V again. We're going to create a second rock, only this time we're going to change the model. So we're going to go to Common, Custom, and we're going to go here. Now as you can see, if you look down here, there is wrap for 01.mdl, wrap for 01 skybox.mdl, wrap for 1 skybox mdl cheap, and then we go to wrap for 2. So basically, the difference between these is wrap for 1 appears to be a full tree, and we'll just lower that so it's actually touching the ground. We'll Control C so I can show you these side by side. So we'll just go in here, choose wrap for 01 skybox.mdl, and you'll notice it's 1/16 the size. Being 1/16 the size, that's what the skybox requires. I'll get into that later. It's for the 3D skybox. Everything is decreased by 16. So, and then here is the cheap version. Oh, so this is a little glitch that you sometimes get where you can't choose a certain model. So you just have to click the X, exit out of it, choose something else, give it a minute. It's just Hammer being stupid. Double click on it, and there you go. You can choose something else. And we're going to go to cheap. So as you can see, this one looks a little bit cheaper. It's just a 2D sprite rather than a 3D model. This one is actually a 3D model, and then this one is the full model that players can interact with. And again, you can choose this player, drag him over here, and you can compare him to the tree. So again, the tree is much taller than the player. And again, you can go through, choose multiple different trees. So we'll go wrap for 2. Ooh, gotta double click on it. We'll do that. And we don't want cheap. Wrap for 3. Oh yeah, that looks cool. Go here. Wrap for 1. They can make like a little cool forested little area around your little sinkhole that you have there. Maybe have some trees around the tank. And again, you can have it look like the tank ran a tree over, so you can do Control C, Control V behind the tank, and then you can go ahead and do something like that. There, looks like the tank ran over the tree. You can see it from the bottom. You can do that with a bunch. You can make like a path where the tank came in. We'll just do some more trees around here. Now again, be careful, don't really put your players in place or put models over the players. That will usually be bad. Let's go ahead, Control C, put a rock. Yeah, a rock goes right there. Happy little rock. Happy little rock. Go, and we'll put one right there, and we'll just go. We'll change the rock that's there. Yeah, we want a nice little happy rock. And there we go. So that's the basics of models. I'll get into placing team-specific structures in the next tutorial. But again, this is just basics of placing models, choosing a model for an entity, what the different props that you'll need, mainly prop static will work. So we'll go ahead, we'll compile this, get it to be fast. You'll notice it takes a little bit longer each time we add something. So you'll notice when it says half-life2.exe, that means the compiling is done. Gonna go here, go to Empires. And again, sorry if it's a little bit laggy, I don't know why it is. Go to Create Server, and we're gonna go to, ooh, we forgot to save it as, my bad, apologies. Got to save this as Hammer Tutorial 3. Gonna go here, compile it again. I apologize about that. And there you go, it's done. So we're gonna go ahead. I just clicked the tutorial. Normally I would edit this out, but okay, so we're gonna just go to disconnect, create server, and then go to Hammer Tutorial 3. Don't click the tutorial. I apologize. Okay, and it's gonna establish a connection, and it's gonna take a little bit, and like most times in Empires, it just takes a little loving. There you go. Now you can fly around the map. You can see a bunch of trees on here. Now sometimes they aren't touching the ground, so you'll have to fix that yourself. But here you can see some rocks. Here you can see some trees. And I'll show you another little cool feature about some props in the next video. I just wanted to get the models in on this one. So thank you for watching, and I hope you watch the next one. Thank you.